The following podcast contains adult language. Listener's discretion is advised.
What's up, indie fans? I'm Haz, and welcome back to Indie Studies. Do y'all remember back in our first episode when we were talking about how the indie genre term gets applied to one scene at a time? But there are incredible independent artists making music in every single genre. Well, that is who we're talking with today. A truly astounding beatboxing duo making what they describe as dubstep for choir nerds. These two have won both the USA and the North American Beatbox Championships, and we sat down with them to discuss what a beatbox competition looks like, their approach to song making, what brought them to the world of beatboxing to begin with, and even have a little beatbox crash course for you at the end, so stick around for that. This is Forest Fire.
All right, Forest Fire, thank you guys so much for coming on Indie Studies today. Real quick, if you guys could go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about who Forest Fire is, what kind of music you guys are out here making.
Sure. Yeah, my name is Craig, and my beatbox name is Plant.
I am Michael, and my beatbox stage name is Match. And together we are Forest Fire. And we are a beatbox duo. We make music primarily with just our mouths, just our voices. And yeah, we're also a competitive beatbox tag team. And so we've won the USA Beatbox Championships, the national title, as well as the North American Beatbox Championships. So yeah, that's the kind of music we make. I would say it's definitely very like electronic music influence, like dubsteppy. There's like house music stuff in there, but
with also some influences from a cappella music.
And just like the different textures and frequencies we're basically able to achieve with just mouth noises. And yeah.
Awesome. I mean, I've been listening to you guys getting ready for this interview, and we will absolutely be talking about this more later on, but what you guys are doing is insane. Where did you guys find your passion for beatboxing?
I think kind of came from different places, but I started beatboxing in college when I was the music director for an a cappella group that I started. And I only wanted to learn enough beatbox so that I could tell my group's beatboxer what I wanted in the arrangements. And then I kind of fell down the YouTube rabbit hole, saw all of what beatboxing was capable of, and thought it was incredible. And so I got really hooked, and I was practicing all the time. 2 years later, our beatboxer is leaving the group, and it was much easier to find another tenor than a beatboxer. So I took over the beatboxer spot, and then we found another tenor. And then from then on, I kind of like fell into it even more until meeting Michael and then getting into competition.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, definitely still through a cappella. Like that's how I started beatboxing. I found pentatonics on YouTube in my senior year of high school. So I was really sick. I didn't really do music or anything throughout my like middle and high school, like choir, band, anything like that. I didn't do anything like that. And so like I was like a year out of high school, and I had started like kind of messing around with like in my car, like listening to pentatonics. And then I just posted a video on Facebook of me like trying it in it was like fall 2013. And everyone was like, oh wow, you're actually pretty good at it. And I was like, I guess so. So I just like kept doing it. And so, I mean, that's really what got me hooked was, a cappella music. I wasn't even singing yet or anything. I wasn't doing anything really musical in my life. And I just like started doing that and then just kept doing it. Met Craig through the a cappella worlds in like 2016, 2017. And then we were just like, hey, let's just start a tag team and try and compete at the national champs that year in 2017. And yeah, that's pretty much it for that.
Always gotta sign off.
It's gotta have a clean break.
I will say one more thing. So when we met, we we're both really into beatboxing and beatbox battling. We hadn't either of us gone to a battle ourselves yet, but we kind of made a pact in that summer that we met. We were like, okay, by the end of this year, we're going to join a beatbox battle. We're going to enter one as a soloist and just like see what happens. And then I was the first to do that. And when I found the other beatboxers in the community, I was like, whoa, this is a whole thing. There's a whole bunch of people who do this and that are really freaking amazing at it, and kind of saw how much more there was to it. So then, called Michael back up and I was like, all right, we're doing this. Let's enter USA Champs.
Yeah. And he was actually the one to make his stage name first, being Plant, based on a nickname from high school, right?
From college.
And then I was like, well, if I do something with fire, we could do like forest fire or something like that, And then Match just kind of came about because I just like the idea of like a nice, clean, one syllable like name. I didn't want something like super long or anything. I just wanted just that. Just Match. Just that. And I don't know, I just like thought it sounded cool and it was fire related. My name is Michael with like M as like the initials. So I was like, it kind of fits, I guess. And so we just kind of ran with that. And then now it's kind of stuck as like the brand.
I think that the history here is pretty funny because there was one other option we were thinking of a tag team, and it was Rainforest. Yeah. And so we were like, if you do something water related, we can go rainforest. And then you were like, wait, if we do something fire related, we can go forest fire.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, wait, that's way cooler.
I think there was another name if I did something with water, because I'm very into Pokemon, and the name was Overgrow. I thought that name was cool.
Oh yeah,
being the Pokemon ability. But anyway, yeah. So that's all there is to say. I'm not gonna keep doing that bit.
And that's that.
And that's all there is to say about that.
So you two met, you decide to become this duo, and then within a year join beatbox competitions. What do those competitions look like? How are they sort of involved? It sounds like there's solo sides and tag team sides. What goes on within a competition?
Yeah,
you're probably best to answer this. You've done most of these.
In a beatbox battle, there are multiple categories typically. So there is solo, tag team. There's also a loop station category for people working with a loop station device that loops your voice, puts effects on it. There's a crew category, which is 3 or more beatboxers. Those are the 4 main categories that you'll typically see. And yeah, in terms of how you get in, sometimes there's a wild card competition. So you submit a video, the judges rank all the videos, and then the top however many get in. If it's a top 8, if it's a top 16, top 32, whatever, those amount of people, the highest ranking get in, and then you do the actual battle. And then sometimes there's an open elimination where it's just everyone that shows up. If you put your name on the list, you can do an elimination round, and then judges judge everyone. Top however many get into the actual bracket, and the bracket just works how any other sports bracket would, where first seed battles 16th seed, second seed battles 15th seed, so on and so forth until you get into the actual tournament bracket. So that's that's pretty much the rough and dirty of it all. It's
Yeah, the only other piece is that there are usually 2 rounds per battle, and each round is 1 minute and 30. And so it runs in usually A-B. So battler 1 will go do their 90 seconds, battler 2 will answer, and then they'll do it one more time. And then judges will rank it.
Are you preparing material beforehand, or is it all freestyle once you're up there?
And it can certainly depend on what kind of person you are, creatively. For us, for tag teams, yes, usually it is prepared. There are prepared 90-second rounds. You're doing, everything that you've planned the whole way through. If you're in a situation where you need to just kind of freestyle or whatever, then you can just rip it like that. There are a lot of solo battlers that also will just freestyle. Obviously, that's a lot easier to do because you're not working with someone else. You're just worried about what you're doing as an individual. So it kind of depends. But for the most part, yeah, we're creating or composing our rounds and performing them the same way.
That's awesome. And then how is it judged? Are there technical aspects within the beats that judges are looking for? I assume certain beats and styles of beats are more difficult than others. And what goes into judging for, I guess, tag team specifically with y'all?
Yeah, I mean, so the criteria are usually judged in the card competition, and when you get to this stage, it ends up just being like, who do you think won? But the 5 criteria that like the wild cards are judged by, and that we kind of think about beatboxing as, are technicality, musicality, flow, stage presence, and originality. So originality is one of the I think most important parts of beatboxing kind of as an art form, and it's the thing that keeps the community growing and this art form moving forward. Is that even in the competitions, we are still judging beatboxers on their originality. So if you take somebody else's beat and you execute that really well, then you still kind of get points off because it's not your own beat. Or if it's, a organization of sounds that have been done before, then that kind of gets penalty for that. The technicality aspect is like, how technically challenging is this beat? So how hard is it to put these string of mouth sounds together? Musicality comes down to a few different things, and this category still has a lot of conversation.
It's the most controversial, I would say. Yeah.
Okay.
And at first, people were like, okay, if you're doing anything with pitch, you're a musical beatboxer. So that can be something like, or like,
or just
doing
or
things with pitch.
Yeah, or just like humming a melody and just like doing a melody and like beatboxing with it. That's kind of like for a while, and I mean, I still think sometimes now, it's like people view that as like, oh, that's you'll get higher in musical, or like you're a musical beatboxer because like you do that.
Yeah, but I think that what musicality kind of can be stemmed down to is how close to music does it sound. Mm-hmm. So if you are doing a house music beat, does it sound like house music? If you're doing a ballad type beat, does it sound like a ballad? Like, can you pull that off? Can you make that sound right? Then you get into flow, and flow is like, it's not just tempo. It's like, are you making the audience move their heads? Are you making us like feel the music that you're putting down? Stage presence, this will work in a video format as well, but it's just like how well are you selling this beat? Are you just like so focused on your beat that you're not giving anything to the camera, to the audience? Or are you able to sell your beat to everybody as well? And then the last was originality, and we said that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the 5.
Wow.
Typically, in like there are other beatbox organizations that have like played with like a different like 4 categories, or like there's not a governing body of beatboxing that is established like these are like the 10 commandments, or anything like that. It's like different competitions or whatever have a slightly different kind of rule set, but in general, thinking about like categories and like you're trying to tick some and sometimes ticking boxes to score in certain categories and stuff. So yeah.
Wow. Clearly a lot goes into this, a lot goes into your preparation. And then when you guys finally won those competitions, what was that feeling for you guys? How was that moment of recognition?
Oh man, we both cried.
Yeah, we both cried. And also I was like, thank God we don't have to do this anymore. Or like we don't have to do this competition anymore.
It's the pressure of it, that like the full day of the competition, you are just feeling the anxiety of competition while you're trying to enjoy and watch your beatboxer friends do their thing as well.
Yeah.
And that it takes a physical toll to do that thing. And to spend, the beatbox battle day can be close to 12 hours. And so you're spending 12 hours in that kind of like heightened state. And even in the breaks in between, you like don't fully come down. So it's just a lot of like energy.
Yeah, and even during the breaks, you're using that break to go outside and practice, or to like strategize, or like you're going to the corner of a quiet spot in the venue to like plug in your ear and like run in your it's wild, but
yeah, the feeling of winning that competition was incredible. We had spent 7 years since we met, working on tag team material, working on solo material, just like improving our skill set and our like writing ability together, and the kinds of things that we put on stage. And yeah, it really meant a lot to finally, win the thing.
I can only imagine. And then not only are you two champion award-winning competitive beatboxers, you've also been releasing your own music as Forest Fire. So let's take a moment. We're going to switch and go ahead and start talking about your recordings, which I've seen you aptly describe as dubstep for choir nerds.
Yeah. That's the description that is taken off. Yes.
It's a pretty good description.
Yeah.
And for any of our listeners, even if you don't listen to dubstep, you absolutely have to go check out Forest Fire. If for no other reason than what they're doing can only be described as fiercely impressive. But can you guys walk us through what that process looks like? And let's use your latest release, Nature's Law, just as like an example for what your process looks like for building a song. So do your beats or lyrics usually come first?
This has, I'd say beats come first.
Beats usually do come first. Usually it'll be like an idea that one of us is like recorded on like a voice memo or something. We'll be like, I had an idea for this, how we could do a beat together and like, switch off certain parts of, drums or bass or melody or something. And then we'll kind of record it, think about it together, put it in a DAW and then write the rest. But beats, I would say like 99% of the time come first. Yeah,
beats will come first.
Yeah.
And I think Nature's Law is an interesting case because that song actually took us over a year to write, right? Because we started the like ideating process of that before Michael even moved to New York. And so we had met at his place in Delaware. And I remember spending hours coming up with that first drop.
Yeah. That was one where we were literally just sitting on the floor in my room at the time, and we were just thinking about ideas and like how we could kind of go through them, like the constant switching off of percussion and bass and like stopping to harmonize there. Like So it took a while, and then like we just kind of kept freestyling on it. And at the time, the whole second half was a wildly different idea. It had like these spoken lyrics that we were swapping back and forth, and it was like a 12/8 triplet switch. And it kind of went into like a, it kind of went into that, and it had this whole like different idea. Yeah. Anyway, we were writing it for a wild card at the time, and then I got this job on a cruise ship for like 8 months, and you were doing like acapella touring stuff overseas, like all that the rest of that year in 2022, and so it kind of sat on the back burner for like a year and a half.
Yeah,
and we revisited it 2024 and finally finished it for a wild card that we were doing at the time. And then took us another year and a half to record the studio version. So it's
been a process.
It's been a whole process.
It sounds like it. Wow.
Breezes cradle ash, whispering remnants of wood.
The thing is, that song we had a really clunky writing process for in the beginning, because this was kind of early on in our writing together stuff. We've now streamlined the writing process, and the songs like Words and Pages and
From the Fall
definitely had a more streamlined process. And I don't know if you already had a question about that, if I'm jumping ahead, but
no. I mean, please, let's hear about your streamlined process. So you guys work on building these beats. What goes in? Because it's clear that there's a lot of like layers to the beats, and how are those layers developed? Is it just pitching back and forth, a lot of ideating? What goes on there when you're building the beats that become the backbone for this music?
So our current process that works really well for us is we're playing on our strengths here. Michael's strengths are the like beatbox technicality, the exciting beatbox moments. And my strengths are in the songwriting, in just like getting the skeleton out. So usually we start by we'll come into a writing session and I'll have already done some skeleton of the song, and that skeleton will look like kind of a simplified version of what you get to listen to on streaming, where you'll have the bass line, you'll have the melody, you'll have maybe some idea of a beat.
And I'll say usually that skeleton is based on like what I was talking about before, where like one of us will come up with like a voice memo or something of like a 10-15 second thing, And then from there, we'll kind of balloon that up, and Craig will write the skeleton from usually, like, most of the time.
And then when I'm writing that skeleton, I'll do my part, and then I'll have a pretty shitty version of Michael's part in there, because I can't do any of the sounds that he can do. But I'll have like he's got this like whoosh bass, and so,
like that,
which is crazy. And so I just go whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
So,
and he'll know that he's got to do that sound over that.
The Craig version is pretty funny to listen to.
Yeah, and then Michael will come into this writing session. He'll kind of listen, and he'll be like, "Okay, here we need to do some more stuff." And then I'll be like, "Okay, let's can you try like doing this fill that you have?" And then he'll record the fill, and then I'll try to fit something that I do into that fill, and then we do a lot of like copying and pasting and like cutting, chopping his fill so that like this first half is over here, and then this half is over here. And then it like puts the beats in like different parts of the measure so that it lines up in cool and different ways. And then we end up learning to do fills that we wouldn't have otherwise figured out ourselves.
Yeah.
Because when you get into like a beatboxing flow, you become familiar with patterns that your mouth does. You know, so you'll get comfortable doing like or like right? And like neither of those things for each of us, for the opposite of us, is familiar. But you know, I might be like, okay, I've got to now do this because that's what's written here, or he's got to now take his pattern and start it from the second note of the pattern instead of the first one.
You're just learning different chopped up versions of what you usually do. And like for a track we wrote earlier this year, that was like a big part of it, because like Craig was just like chefing it up in the DAW, and I come in and then he plays me my part. We also, once the chopping happens, we do a lot of listen throughs and try to basically achieve what's written or what's chopped up at a slower tempo to make sure that we can achieve it in a one take scenario, because obviously we still want to make sure that what we're doing in these, like, we can do it right here, you know, like in real time. And so he played me what I'm supposed to do, and I just look at him, I'm like what the hell is that? Like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do this. And then we literally just take it. I mean, just like learning anything, you just take it slower and one step at a time, and then soon enough, we're able to do it. But so the chopping up has a lot to do with our process, and allows us to just like make things we never would have thought of ever. I will say also, like what Craig was saying about playing to our strengths, is like I have such a hard time wanting to move on from something unless it is like 100% how I want it, and I have like trouble like thinking of the big picture and not just like this 20 seconds needs to be like the craziest shit ever,
or like this 3 seconds,
or it needs to be like pristine. But Craig is very good at being like, it's good for right now, like let's move on, let's visit the end of the thing and get that, and then we'll come back to it, and then we'll take a break and listen, you know, breaking out of that kind of feedback loop of doing that. So that's like another good strength of that is you know, with the ideas and stuff, I get stuck, but Craig with the big picture, like it works really well.
I got one more part of the writing process. Sometimes we come into this thinking, okay, I wanna just have a trade-off of arpeggios. And you know, an arpeggio, if anybody listening doesn't know what an arpeggio is, it's a series of notes in a chord that happen back to back rather than at the same time. So like ba da 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 ba 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 ba, right? That would be like an arpeggio. So, and in beatbox, we're trying to make every one of those notes a different sound. So we'll have like, we have, and we have like those different sounds. And when you put them all back to back, it sounds like, you know, kind of inhuman. And so, you know, we have this idea. We've heard now this arpeggio thing happen a lot in the beatbox community, but we haven't heard it happen where somebody comes down while somebody else goes up. And so we're like, okay, the main thing we want to do in this song is we want to do that. Somebody goes down, somebody goes up. And so then we spend some time trying to figure that out. And then, you know, choppy, bada bing.
Plunky, plunky.
Choppy, plunky, plunky.
And that's kind of how it's
That's incredible.
So you guys build these insane beats, and then comes your lyric writing time. Where are you guys drawing inspiration from? Because your lyrics are, I mean, very like deep and intimate and they feel emotionally charged. Where are you guys getting this inspiration for your lyrics from?
It does depend. I think like for like some things it is like if one of us already has like a phrase or like a word or like an idea that we've thought about doing, like drawing from our own lives, then we'll kind of take that and run with it. And then it'll be like, we'll spend a lot of time just like word searching, just like being like word generating, being like, 50 words that rhyme with blah, 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 or like, phrases. Like I've been like reading a lot more like poems lately, like to like just like get like inspiration. It's kind of like a lot of different ways, but I mean, in general, once we like with Words and Pages, we had like the intro and the skeleton written, and then we just played it on repeat and sat on the couch, and that was like our food break. That was like right after our food break, is like we didn't go right back to work on it. We just listened to what we had so far, and then just like thought about like what the track feels like, or like what is it emoting? What does it feel like? It kind of feels like we should be longing for something, or we should be sad, or it should be like, we're just kind of cool, like whatever the thing is, and then we just kind of base it on that.
Then we'll take that, find a theme, So with Words and Pages, we wanted to kind of stay on that book theme, right?
Yeah.
So I think the first like line that we found was Words and Pages, right?
Words and Pages, or like I think I had written something I had something written in my notebook about like wanting to be remembered by somebody in a way that like their favorite book is, they love their favorite book, or remember a passage from their favorite book or something like that. And that was like the kind of thing that we were just, all right, we just like started searching, and then we found Words and Pages. We were like, okay, we could do something with, and then we just kind of
built from there.
Built from there. Like, the ink stains, like with like writing in ink, want to be the line that pulls you, like all that kind of stuff just kind of came from that theme. I think every one of our tracks do have a theme of like what all the lyrics build into.
Yeah.
Words on the page, I wear the stains. Wanna be the line.
Your guys' collaboration and dynamic is something that's really interesting to me. How important is that collaborative dynamic to you guys, staying together as a group even after 9 years now?
Well, I can't stand the guy.
Okay, yeah, there you
truthfully. I'm just in it for the lack of money. I'm in it for the stream revenue.
I've
been trying to make less. so I thought, beatbox.
Yeah. I wanted to be an artist, but poor. So I was like, beatboxing, perfect combination.
No, but for real, that I think that this is something that has developed over time. And I think early on in our career, our time as a duo, we really we didn't have this, and it's kind of come from a mix of our interactions with each other and our interactions with like the people that are close to us and how they've influenced us. And I think the things that came out of COVID too, during the pandemic, Michael spent a lot of time on solo beatbox battling and was just like grinding constantly. And so he got really good at like the technical aspects of beatboxing. And during that time, I focused my attention on songwriting and on like learning how to work in a DAW. And so that's the part that I got really good at. And so when we finally were able to get back together, we kind of brought those two new skill sets, and then found that like, oh, this works. Like, I've got this thing, you've got this thing. We can just kind of lean into that. And, that has been good.
Has it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And like on the outsides of that, I focus a lot on the music. I do all the production, and Michael does all the social media video creation.
Yeah, I would say during lockdown, I also like got a lot more into. We did like some like lockdown separate projects where we were recording our videos and at our own respective places or whatever. and I was just kind of putting them together. But like I started video editing a lot more, and yeah, our deliberation of labor is very good in the sense that like, you know, social media, video editing, all that kind of stuff, music production, and yeah, all of the mixing and editing, and like being able to work very efficiently in the DAW as well. And then both of us for our strengths in the composing aspect. So yeah, all of it, yeah, melts pretty well together, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know how it is.
Yeah.
Y'all's social media presence is something I definitely want to touch on in a minute. But as much as we were kind of joking around about it a second ago, being a full-time musician is really hard and really difficult, you know, monetarily wise, especially when you're independent, don't have the backing of a label, funding everything yourselves. How are you guys keeping it going?
Different for both of us. We both have other things outside of just making music. I'm a singer and a voice teacher, and so a lot of my income is coming from teaching voice and from singing. And then Michael does a lot of teaching beatbox.
Yeah, teaching private beatbox lessons. I still do like cruise performing, but like with a cappella groups. So I'll be beatboxing and like singing here and there on arrangements with the groups, and doing like a week stints at a time. Also, I work with a children's chorus, and I also do paid choral singing and stuff like that. So like a lot of different hats to be a full-time musician anyway. I mean, everybody has their grinds and stuff. So yeah, you kind of just cobble all that together. I will say for us, especially in the past couple months or a few months, we've had a couple more things like where we've been able to, make a little bit of money and also do our sets. And we judged the New York Beatbox Championships and performed and did a music festival with some beatbox friends of ours, and like just got to put more time into the live performance aspect of it, which we don't with our schedules. We don't always get to do that as much. But yeah, that's been cool lately, and hopefully the plan is, to obviously keep that going. We obviously want to perform, anytime that we can. But yeah.
Yeah. And every now and then we also together will teach beatbox workshops at schools.
Yeah.
And that ends up being a big part of our income.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to put Forest Fire's specific website URL down in our show notes, but we'd be happy to put y'all's personal ones in there too. If anybody's looking for beatboxing or vocal lessons in the New York City area, these are two pretty incredible people to hit up.
Yeah.
And then heading back to your social media presence, you've got tens of thousands of followers across TikTok and Instagram. And it seems like you guys treat these posts as you do everything with a deep kind of focus. You're making very creative videos, like the top 3 and worst 3 beatboxing sounds. You're giving fans a fun little like behind the scenes look into your processes. What kind of focus are you guys putting into this content?
That's you. That's you, buddy.
I think in general, trying out different kinds and styles of content and seeing kind of what sticks and what resonates. Obviously, like we would never want to just do something, over and over again if it like makes us like hate ourselves or like sacrifices our artistic integrity. But like you mentioned, like the top 3, best and worst beatbox sounds. Those were just like total shit posts. So we were just like, let's just set up the camera and just like first thing that comes to our minds, we're just gonna say it, and we're just gonna yes and each other. We're just gonna like keep going and just make it beatbox centric, whatever, because it kind of has to be. But anything that we have fun doing and that we can like just be like, hey, let's just try it. Like the rehearsal videos. That just came from like, we were just practicing on mic at a studio, and we were just like, we were working on writing and practicing a new thing at the time. And I was like, you know what, do you have a tripod? And he's like, yeah. So I just set up I recorded like 45 minutes of us just doing whatever. And I just skimmed it, chopped it up, and just like, if anything happens from it, then cool. And like, it garnered, some attention, like, us practicing with the metronome instead of like showing the behind the scenes process. Like, yeah, it resonates a bit. Obviously like the dubstep for choir nerds stuff has taken off the most. That's what gave us, and like we did a duet sequence, whatever the thing is on Instagram, of a dubstep producer that made a dubstep song in 6/8 time. And she was like, this is how you do a dubstep song in 6/8. And we were like, Words and Pages is 6/8. This is perfect. So we just did it. That was like the first video to like, you know, get a bunch of views or whatever. And so that was cool. So we just kind of leaned into that. Like, you know, when I make posts with Words and Pages stuff, it usually does pretty well. And that tells us that people like that kind of track or that kind of song, or like the part that we start the video in the song is like cool. People like it. So like,
we also like that style of music too, which is nice, because the thing that we, you know, one of our favorite beats is the one that took off, so that was kind of nice for us.
Yeah, and so like when those things align, you know, stuff that people resonate with and stuff that we enjoy doing, like that's great. You know, we're not out here like, again, doing stuff that like makes us like miserable, you know, because I would never do that, you know. So like it's just been great to find this little bit of success to like try to like build on. And yeah, in terms of the content, just like trying new things, like seeing seeing what sticks. Yeah,
beatbox conversations.
Beatbox conversations, just any of the like dumb funny stuff. It's just, that's also kind of our brand though. Like we are just two dudes that are stupid, and you know, when you do something also stupid for part of your living, i.e. beatboxing, it's just kind of, you know, it's kind of is what it is, you know. Spoken like a true
said.
Shakespearean, baby.
That's right.
Jeez.
You guys are nothing if not adequate ambassadors for the art form.
Who else do you need, really?
Yeah.
Who else do you need?
In that ambassadorship, do you guys have any advice for young people discovering beatboxing? If you could give advice to yourselves when you guys first found beatboxing, what would it be?
Yeah, I think stream Words and Pages on all platforms would be my first piece of advice, I think.
Yeah, second piece, metronome practice.
Yeah. Secondary, get good at it. But first, you gotta listen. You gotta pump our shit.
Yeah. I mean, I think that like the sooner you can start collaborating with another beatboxer or another musician in general, the better. I think that one of the things that I wish for more beatboxers that are at kind of this high level is that they had experience collaborating, because it turns out that most of the gig work that you get as a beatboxer is going to be in collaboration with someone else, whether that's another beatboxer, another several, with dancers, with
singers,
instrumentalists, you know, as like the drummer in a band. It's going to be in some sort of collaborative capacity. And there's a lot of beatboxers that spend all their time learning how to do the stuff themselves. And so when it comes time to work with another musician, they're not able to kind of separate that. And so they're doing too much or not listening or whatever. So it's just, as soon as you can get into a room with another musician, do that. And just start learning about what it is like to make music with another musician.
Yeah, and part of that is also why I'm glad that I got my start through a cappella music, and like, I mean, you did as well. Like, our start wasn't in the battle scene. Like, we didn't do battles for a while after that, or after we started. So like, our formative time was spent on, okay, how do I support this ensemble that I'm with? Or like, you know, my timing needs to be great. You know, like I need to really work on those kinds of things from like a, you know, technical aspect. I think the collaboration is huge, and just knowing how to jam and work with someone else, and not being very, you know, insular. I wanted to actually clarify, when you're saying like, are you saying people starting beatboxing, or were you saying people interacting with or learning about beatboxing for the first time?
The question was geared toward people starting the beatboxing journey, but okay. I'm also very interested in your other answer now, for people just experiencing beatboxing for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess not much advice for that, I guess, but like maybe it kind of goes to like what we try to do with beatboxing. Like, it is seen as like a party trick still a lot, or like, you know, almost as a joke, kind of. I mean, in a lot of ways, you know, but like, you know, I think some of the recorded music stuff that, like, I mean, not to like put ourselves on like a pedestal or anything, but like some of the stuff that we're doing, but like our other friends like Wing, River, Gene, Shogo, like those guys are also doing. Like, I think it's like really good for pushing it forward, and for like people that hear that for the first time, they're like, whoa, like I've never heard beatboxing like this. So I think having a more open mind about like what kind of music beatboxing can create, I suppose. And like,
Yeah, I think if you're coming into beatboxing for the first time and it's not from watching this interview, which, you know, I guess I don't know who we're talking to in that case, because this is answering on an interview. But, you know, if you have a conversation with a friend, don't let a bad version of the art form be the way that you form your opinion on the art form. So if you hear some beatboxing and you're like, man, I don't like that, and it's because you heard somebody who is, you know, just starting out, or you know, you have an annoying cousin who like won't stop making these noises. Keep your mind open until you hear something dope, because beatboxing is able to explore all genres of music. There is probably something for everyone.
Yeah, because it can also be like a genre or style kind of thing. Like a beatboxer with a certain style, like you're like, nah. But then you hear another one, you're like, yeah. So, yeah. Just wanted to synthesize that down to the most simplest form, you know, for our layman out there. You know?
No, I get it. It makes sense. Maybe a little embarrassingly. For me, the whole time, you know, my whole life, beatboxing has been this party trick. Or it's, you know, I've been impressed by pentatonics or what I saw in Pitch Perfect. But up until I found you guys, I was like, oh, beatboxing is this. I mean, I assume it is still a very underground thing, but it's
absolutely.
It's not, as much as I'm kind of ashamed to say it now, it isn't necessarily like a huge part of the music world. And after seeing you guys researching things about beatboxing competitions, watching other videos, I just really hope that it starts to grow and people do start getting more into it, seeing how involved and dedicated people like you are, and just how fucking impressive it is. That is way more than a party trick. It's something that a lot of practice gets put into. And if you guys could help me start that practice, if we could do a little beatboxing workshop real quick here to end our interview, I know I would appreciate it. Our listeners may not, because I'm going to suck, but I know I would appreciate it.
Yeah.
You gotta suck to get good. So,
that's right.
You know,
that's
there
right.
we go. That's true.
But yeah.
You want to take the first one?
So I feel like most people watching will have heard Boots and Cats can be your way in, right? We usually start by teaching the sounds individually instead of going to Boots and Cats.
Yeah.
Because Boots and Cats pretty quickly devolves to and it doesn't sound like right? And that's what we're going for. So we're gonna teach you these sounds individually. All right.
Okay.
We're gonna start. We've got 3 basic sounds, and with these 3 sounds, you can do a whole lot. All right. Okay. You've got your kick drum, your hi-hat, and your snare. All right.
Okay.
Your kick drum is you're gonna do this using the letter P. So if you just go, yeah, and can you just like really increase the pressure in your mouth before you make the P?
All right.
Yeah. Now see if you can do it without puffing out your cheeks. You see how your cheeks go before you do it? So tighten your lips, make like a kissy face, and then do this P. There you go.
Cool.
And now, yeah, the only difference between and is a lot more energy.
Okay.
So can you actually just go? Great. Now with that amount of energy, do the P. There you go.
Cool.
Yeah. Now, if you do that P while you're holding your breath, so if you go, right, and you just gotta hold your breath while you try to go, yeah, there you go. And it tightens the sound up a little bit.
Wow. Okay.
Second sound is your hi-hat. This is just the letter T. You say, yeah, there you go. That's a good hi-hat.
Cool.
Then your third sound is your K snare. The simplest way to do this is just like to say K. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to do that a little sharper, you can do the same thing you did with the kick drum and hold your breath a little. Yeah. Now, can you do your hi-hat again? Yeah. Nice. And then if you go, there you go.
Yeah.
And then you're just going to add one more hi-hat in there. So it'll be.
Nope.
Yeah.
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 Nice. Now, can you go huh, and while you're holding your breath, you're gonna do the yeah.
There you go.
So when you do your T's, can you do it like that while you're holding your breath?
Gotcha. Nope.
Yeah, nice. And actually, if you just hold your breath like that for the whole thing, they're all that clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you do it twice in a row?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
That's sick. All right, let's throw in one more pattern.
Okay.
All right? So you're gonna start with the kick drum. Okay. Can you do that back to me? Great. All right. So you're gonna start with that, and you're just gonna go like this.
Okay.
So starting with the kick drum, just do the rest of that.
Yeah, got it.
There it is.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah.
thank you.
All right. Yeah.
It's easy.
It ain't easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah,
It's
nice.
not easy.
Yeah. So
It definitely.
if you were our beatbox student, the thing that I would tell you to work on is getting the kick drum to have your lips a little bit tighter the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Instead of going like letting it go. You really make sure your lips are tight, so you can put your fingers on your face and make sure that these muscles are working. And so this should be tight the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, and while at that same time trying to keep that like puckered, almost like pursing. A lot of different kinds of lip movements here, but
It is.
yeah. So starting with
Wow.
tucking in corners, pursing a little bit. Mhm. Yeah, yeah. And then just trying to
Yeah.
kind of holding your breath. We want most of the sound to come from the actual like kind of explosion of our lips instead of like it only being air, you know? So yeah, just like working on melding those three things together, and your kick drum will be like in like, I don't know, 6 minutes. Or,
Yeah.
yeah. Like 5 minutes, you'll have perfect kick drum. But not just like, yeah, grind that over and over a little bit.
For sure. Well, you've definitely given me lots to work on. Hopefully our listeners some to work on too. But Forest Fire, thank you guys so much for coming on Indie Studies today. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Hey, thank
Yeah,
you so
of
much for
course.
having us.
Yeah, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Forest Fire, thank you all so much for coming on the podcast today. It was an absolute blast getting to talk with y'all. I think it's safe to say I'm going to need some more practice before I enter any competitions. If you want to learn more about Forest Fire, links to their socials are in the show notes, as is a link to their website, which you should absolutely check out, especially if you're in the New York City area and want to get into beatboxing yourself. I cannot wait to see what these guys get up to and create next. And also, thank you, Forest Fire, for introducing me to the incredible world of the beatboxing scene. That's it for today, and I'll see you next time on Indie Studies.
cradle ash, whispering remnants of what was through the aftermath.